Hey everyone, JCS StarCraft here, bringing you Game 3 of the Go4SC2 number 29 Weekly Cup. The finals right now, this time between DIMAGA as the blue Terran and... Wait, I'm sorry, am I reading this right? DeMusliM. Okay, so, okay. DIMAGA is playing as the blue Terran on... this is really weird. DIMAGA is not normally a Terran player. He is a Zerg player, so I'm not sure if I'm just reading this incorrectly. I am kind of stumped at this point. And so DeMusliM now playing as the Zerg. DeMusliM, the British Terran player, is going to be playing as Zerg in Game 3 of the finals. DIMAGA going to be switching up and playing Terran. Not sure if there's some sort of talk in between Game 2 and Game 3, and also not sure why. I do remember seeing some sort of cast about them switching races at some point, but so should be a pretty interesting game right now between the two. And it looks like DeMusliM just went for an early 6 pull, and DIMAGA going to be playing pretty standard Terran play, going for the 12 racks and pushing forward. So DeMusliM, in the last game, both players went with a very early rush on scrap station. DeMusliM did go for the 8 racks Reaper, while his opponent... Okay, I'm just getting really confused now because I'm pointing at different things. Maybe it could be that, and this does look like it's, I can't tell. I mean, maybe they traded accounts or something, but we'll see whether or not. From the APM, I think DIMAGA does have normally a higher APM signature, so this could be correct. Anyways, I am going by the names on the accounts to cast this replay right now. You know, both players part of the Mind Factory clan, and both very strong players, so could just be trading off here for fun in this finals. They have faced off with each other before. DIMAGA has won. It's been very successful on the Go4SC2 Weekly Cup, and both players are qualified for the IEM Season 5. I think DIMAGA secured a spot by winning one of the earlier cups as a qualification, and DeMusliM was invited as one of the 10 invitees for one of the biggest championships. DIMAGA does have these SCV here to repair. Probably doesn't need this many out here. Could be mining with these right now, and DeMusliM going to be trying to pushing in. So from the looks of it, this does look like they swapped. Both players not playing as solidly as you would think that they would normally. DIMAGA opting just to wall off and getting some marine units. Not sure how often they play these races with each other, but maybe in the last game there was a declaration from DIMAGA that he did yell Imba at some point. A lot of players right now do consider that Terran is a bit imbalanced, especially against Zerg. A lot of the Zerg players are getting frustrated that Terrans can just kind of play one base, and even when equal sized armies meet from both sides, or if the Zerg player has even more units on the farm count, that a Terran player can come out of a battle, you know, very lopsided. So second barracks going down for DIMAGA. These Marines going to be holding off for a while. Looking at the speed not yet being researched, so pretty late gas from DeMusliM, and not too much on the field right now. Just a handful of Zerglings. DeMusliM does finally spit, and going to be getting a second queen. Looking at DIMAGA side, factory finally going down for him as well. Kind of a weird thing to see in a final, but you know, they are clanmates, and this is fun after all. It's about the fun of StarCraft 2, not always necessarily the stress of competition from both sides. Tech Lab's going down on both barracks, and that would be sweet if DIMAGA reapered DeMusliM. It does look like this is right. They are swapping names for sure, and so very funny match right now between the two. DIMAGA can prove, let's see if he can prove that Terran is in fact imbalanced. So Tech Lab's going down, but Marines still being trained from DIMAGA. I'm not even sure if like they have played a lot of the other race, because it doesn't look like really using those Tech Labs. Okay, so combat shield being researched, and maybe the Tech Labs were thrown down for some sort of show. DIMAGA did see them after all, Is speed finally done? I'm tired of watching these really slow Zerglings across the map. I'm hoping that speed is going to be finished soon, which it is. And now DeMusliM going to be taking his super slow expand, throwing more Zerglings out on the field. He has no other building units. I think he's only building Zerglings at this point. And Tech Labbed Marines. So very interesting play. Now DIMAGA is doing some sort of a switch right now, and going to be getting, I assume it's going to be trying to figure out how he does a lot of this. At least both players, income tab wise, and DIMAGA. Wait, hold on. DeMusliM does not play enough Zerg to really realize how to saturate, and has just been building a ton of Zerglings, so way undersaturated at his main. And you know, part of playing Zerg is knowing when to saturate, knowing when to try to get ahead, and knowing when to build units. Right now, very unnecessary to build all these Zerglings against his opponent, and should just be trying to saturate because his opponent is greatly out econing him. DIMAGA at this point just going to be throwing down a few more Raxes, and you know, maybe both players, who I don't know what their experience are with the races, but maybe this can prove a little bit of the imbo. Terran, of course, is easier to play. DeMusliM throwing down some spine crawlers, and in anticipation for what's about to happen, might want to send in this Overlord to sacrifice to see what his opponent has. I don't think he knows at all, and should really just be sending this in. Finally, some Marauders coming out, so these Tech Labs coming into play. Combat Shield being researched. We still don't have Stim researched, and DeMusliM should just try to like push in with this force right now, or do some sort of Doomsday drop. What is he researching at this point? Going to be upgrading to the lair, but not going to have enough to really do too much damage now that these medvacs are in the air. DIMAGA is loading up and going to be doing some sort of drop, or not, trying to figure out. Maybe he's just trying to figure out how medvacs work in general. And let's see. So really just going with the big bio ball. DeMusliM, if he had played more Zerg, would probably be throwing down a Baneling's Nest or any other structure right now. Let's see, does he have, he has an Evo Chamber coming up. I'm not even sure where he is on the map. So 2 Evo Chambers coming up, just going to be going with Speedlings. Not the best combination against this bio ball. The MMNM going to be coming out right now. I think everything going to be falling on DeMuslim's side. And really just looking at the units, 43 Zerglings out on the map. Bio ball pushing in from DIMAGA. DeMusliM now gonna try to do something, gonna try to get it surrounded. He knows that he should surround these Zerglings, running in, but look at all this protection. I mean, there's just a wall. The ball, the outer shell of the ball is healed sufficiently. DeMusliM right now should be calling GG. And so, maybe proving once and for all that Terran is slightly imbo when 2 top players of other maps. And so the loser does pick the next map. I'm not sure if they're gonna be swapping again in terms of in terms of their races, but should be fun to see. And so that was game 3, taken by DIMAGA as Terran of the Go4SC2 finals, and I'm going to be shoutcasting game 4 shortly. So this is JCS StarCraft signing off.